Oh, is this how you do it? I'm checking it out. Good morning, all. Good afternoon, all. Oh my. So, yes. Okay. Period 3. Checking it out. Where'd it go? Okay. Wow. It's different. I invite some of you guys to turn your video on just for a bit. Hello, Jara. Let me go to my thing here. Go to my YouTube. Say yes. We're streaming it. Okay, this is awesome. I think this is it. I go back here, go to the Zoom thing, go to that one. All right, got 11. There's more coming in. Okay. Got the who's willing to say something, unmute themselves.
Hi, how are you?
Who just did that?
I did.
Was that James?
Yeah.
Jay James?
Yeah, I didn't mean to put 2 J's.
No problem. Wow, I'm getting echo. I wonder what time out. Just bear with me for a minute here. Like it's already been bared with. Okay, so let me leave the meeting. That's okay. Kill that. Okay. Kill that. I want to go to Google Classroom.
Shut up.
Check it out. You guys can hear me, right? Somebody say something.
Yeah, you're good, bro. You're good.
Oh, bro, I got a bro. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to go to period 3. I'm going to join the stream. Join it. Got myself joining. Okay, the host will let you in. Okay, we'll probably echo coming up here. Seriously. Let me just get it together. Okay, now there should be radical echo. Thumbs up if you're hearing the echo.
That's a fat echo. Really.
Okay, so what's going on? Whoa.
A fat echo.
So there's this guy, Math One. Wait a minute. I'm Math One, so screw that.
Math 1.
All right, so I have myself logged in as a student so that I can see what you see. You know, pretty smart guy to kind of go, wow. Instead of asking you guys, what are you guys seeing? What are you guys seeing? I have a Chromebook here that is that. Now I should probably join this darn meeting on Zoom on my phone also. But so we're just going to go a little bit here, admit all. Okay, so if you want to take care of business, you can take care of business. If you go to Google Classroom for period 3, there's an exit ticket for day 1. You could fill it out. So as people are getting admitted, just go check out, go. Okay, now how do you do this? You might want to have two windows of Chrome going on at the same time. One window of Chrome that has the meeting and another window of Chrome that is where you do other stuff. So if you can access Google Classroom, open up a fresh thing of Chrome, access third period Google Classroom, you should be in it. Let me admit some more. We're up to 18, 19, 20. And if you go to Google Classroom, what just happened there? Whoa, timeout. I need to go to, I'm trying something different. With Zoom, I can live stream this to YouTube and then it would be recorded. And that way I don't have to save it. But I think I just heard myself talk from the YouTube live stream. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let me do this thing here. We'll find out what happens real soon here. Go to the Zoom, go to the meeting, a couple more, admit them. Frosh Advisory. Okay, that's someone who doesn't have the thing there. Okay. Chat, we got something in the chat.
I just put my school email.
So when I want your first name, it's just your first name, just James.
No, it won't let you on there. It makes you put a email. So I just put my school email.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you messed something up when you were programming or not
Okay,
programming,
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna actually go there to see what you guys are seeing here. Ah. This live stream not working. It's got issues. Okay, we're figuring it out again.
So when I went to enter like my first name, it says this is not a valid email address.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to that Google Classroom. Thank you for telling me. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna do this. That's third period. Go into the classwork. Yes. Go in this exit ticket thing. I'm gonna, oh my gosh. I wonder if oh man. Oh, wow. This isn't what I want. Whoa. Okay, so I'm the manager, so I can change this. Crud. I shared it out. Darn. Okay, let me go just a second while I fix this. All right, so go to the period 2. I'm just talking, guys. Sorry for doing this. It's not what I want.
You're good. It's new.
Okay, I copied something and it's a hassle. Okay, so I'm going to a new Gmail, going to that, going to my classroom, going to second period and see what they got. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah. Okay, so that's different. Okay, so exit ticket. Wow, interesting. Sorry for having to figure this out, but it's as you guys know, it's all new. Okay, so get rid of that. Go to this exit ticket. Whoa, trippy.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
My internet isn't working that well and it kicked me out. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's all good. Nobody's in trouble for like anything.
All right.
I just want to see something here. Okay, look at that. So the turned in. So then if I do this, sorry when I do this. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Oh, I do the other thing. You guys are getting cheated. So go ahead and do your email. Go ahead and do that. Fill in what it requires of you. It's not what I wanted, but we're gonna go with it anyway. All right, so let's go to the thing. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so we got a couple more, admit them. Okay. I invite you to turn on your cameras, at least for a little bit. And if we end up having some problems to deal with that, hello, hello, hello. Okay. Now, this should be period 3. And the weird thing is it's after lunch. So let me give you something to do while we get checked in. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I haven't shared my screen yet, have I? No. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Saying yes. Okay, now I'm going to go here. Okay, on paper, on a piece of paper, please draw those two things. You might want to go like to full screen type stuff. Draw those two things on paper. And we're going to use these in about a half hour. Okay. I'm gonna stop the, no, can I do this? I'm gonna stop the share, sorry. I'm admitting more people. And now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do it again. Just excuse me while I listen, and I'm gonna make it be that. Okay, so you should be seeing the same thing you saw before, but now I can work on the side. And you guys won't know that. All right. I'm going to say yes to that kid, send. And go to the next one. That's crazy. Let me reply. Should be soon. Sorry, as I'm kind of just talking, and I know you guys are probably heard teachers go, oh, sorry. Should be
What's
soon.
on the end of figure 1?
Say that again.
What's on the end of figure 1?
I'll zoom it in a little bit.
I can't read. Is that an 8
That's an H.
on
So-
KL?
So that's GHIJ going down here, then K here, L there. There's a Q up here and a lowercase p down there.
Okay.
I'm emailing one of your classmates who can't get in right now. So let me just do this, period 3. We'll go to period 3. Period 2 went pretty well, I think. Period 3, got that. Do this right here. It's not that one. I want this one. Launch meeting. Don't launch it. Don't launch it. God, it's like you have to push the right thing. I don't want to do that. No. That was disaster. No. I don't want to leave the meeting. Oh no. I gotta go back. No. Okay, stop share. Whew. Man, oh wow. Crazy. Okay, so we got 25 people here. I don't want to do this. Whoa. I just hit cancel. I feel so good. Okay, so in the chat, in the Zoom chat, type in here and then hit enter. So everybody just type here and enter. I think I can save the chat and I'll have roll and we'll be good. And I want to get down to the business of teaching some math here. Okay. Let's go here. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you're all fitting. That's interesting because it's 25. Speaker view. No. I'll do this. Will pin me. I can pin me, huh? Gallery view. I'm going to spotlight me. So now it's just me talking. You're going to see me. All right. Check out the classroom. My name is Sid Bishop. This is year 38 for me at Ukiah High School. Yesterday was my 34th anniversary of marriage. My wife and I, the day we got married, it was kind of like today, and we thought it was going to rain, and we're going to have to move the wedding, and then it didn't happen. I've already had reports from kids that their power went out, and so they got cut from the class. So we'll have to work it out and try to make the best we can, do some office hours where we connect with each other. I don't think I have anybody left in there. So do the here thing. You should have done that. For those of you who've just entered, if you go to Google Classroom and do an exit ticket, that it'll kind of be a record of your being here. So please do that if you haven't already. You might need to have 2 windows going on. And I think I'm going to share my screen again, but this time I'm going to actually kind of just stay focused and share my screen.
So what is the exit ticket for again?
The exit ticket in Google Classroom, if you're unable to access it during this period before the end of the day, you go there, it'll ask you to type your email address in. It's not the one that I want. Something went wrong, but just go ahead and fill it in. It's kind of evidence of your attendance, and I'll get a record of it. And that'll kind of be my way of taking roll.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want this here. I want this going on here. And I want that there. So I'm just seeing that 30 of you guys have done it already. Oh, wait a minute. This is period 2. I want to go to period 3. Is this period 2? What color is period 3? Here's period 3. I'm looking at classwork. I'm looking here, exit ticket. I can see that 15 of you have turned it in, the exit ticket. From what I can see, let me back this up here. It's all good. Go to classwork, go to this, do that, turned in. So Allison, you turned it in. Anthony turned it in. Carlos, CJ, Clayton, Gabrielle. Oh, it's changing as we go. So please, everybody, do exit ticket before you leave. And I'll make sure that we remind you of that. All right. So what are we going to do now? I'm sharing my screen and you should see this. So you're drawing these 2 figures on your own paper. And hopefully you can kind of see it. You might want to make it full screen. Okay, the first one is a line Q and a line P that are intersecting at point I. And I'm just going to use big vocabulary. G, H, I, and J are all collinear. K, I, and L are collinear. And all of those points in figure 1 are coplanar in that they're in the plane of the paper. Figure 2, there's kind of a parallelogram thing around the outside. That represents a flat space, a flat plane P. And then I'm drawing an X like figure 1 in the plane. And this time X, Y, and Z are all on line B. And U, Y, and W are all on line C. And line A is coming and punching through this plane at Y, and V, Y, and T are all in a row. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of let you do this. And I'm going to hope that you can kind of draw and listen. Okay. It's kind of interesting that I would guess that I might have had some of your parents as students or some of your relatives as students. It usually happens. So I've been at Ukiah longer than anybody else. I've been here since 1983. This is year 38 for me. This is all new. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive now. Excuse me while I go to my Google Drive. I'm going to put this picture up again. Okay, I'm going to go to my Google Drive. I think I can. So I'm going to my Gmail. Where's my Gmail? Right there. So I'm going to go to Google Drive. You're seeing me do my Google Drive. Okay, so I'm going to do recent. And come on. And you might have, so I want to just kind of go here. All right. Here's the picture that I stole some of this from Miss Torres. She did great work. And you'll notice kind of over here, welcome my class, there's a picture of our book. You'll be getting that Wednesday, we hope. You'll notice here this fractal thing. I'm going to just talk about my life a little bit as we go forward today. In 2010, my mother died. Right before that, we had done this in my calculus class. On the back wall of my classroom is a poster of this thing. It's an amazing poster. It's called the Sierpinski gasket. And I'll talk with you about it. It's very special to me. Okay, we got Albert Einstein, theory of relativity. And then there's this picture, which I was looking for. So I'm going to go back to it. Here we go. I took a picture of it. You're now seeing it. I wrote this poster in 1983. You might notice that there's white things I've drawn on it. You'll notice that there's like paste marks here. I was 23 years old when I wrote this. I stole this from another teacher. Rule number one, we will do our best to help each other learn. That's it. That's the whole deal. Number one, no big deal. We'll talk more about that. I'd ask everybody to unmute. Everybody unmute and say hello, Mr. Bishop.
Hello,
Mr. Bishop.
Hello, Mr. Bishop.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bishop.
That was wicked. It took like 12 seconds and the last one was, okay, so here are the rules. And so I have two children. They're 29 and 32. That both graduated, both had me for geometry. I chose to have them had me in geometry. I went to their counselor and I said, put them in my geometry class. I'm good at teaching geometry, I think. Michael Jordan should be able to say to people, I'm good at playing basketball. I've done this for a long time. I've had many kids say, man, I learned a lot in your class. And I said, I learned from you guys too. So I've never had a class where I haven't learned from the students in every single period. So 38 times 5, 190 plus summer school. I got probably 250 classes I've taught. I've taught probably 10,000 students. I've learned so much from my students. So just know that while, okay, I'm gonna change my share here for a moment. Stop my share. And now I'm gonna share again. I'm gonna share my screen. And this time I'm gonna share just the camera. Okay. So I'm gonna do this. And there's that thing that was a picture. So I'm gonna kind of do this. And it's really hard to do that thing right there. When I came back from my mother's funeral, that was on my desk. It's huge. And it's just amazing. That's equilateral triangles. And that's what you saw. So now I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to the board. And because I have a Chromebook going on, I can see what you see. All right, so now you see me, and this is going to be a lot better than last year. A lot better. I don't know. Hopefully you'll feel like you're with me. Hopefully when I ask you to do things, you'll do them. Most of the time. Do I expect you guys to goof off? Absolutely. If I care that you eat while we're having class? I don't care. One girl in the last class, her screen name was the guinea pig queen. And so I said to her, oh, do you like guinea pigs? She said, yes. And I said, well, you'll have to, how many do you have? She said, 3. And I said, well, you'll have to bring them to class some days. Just to make my life more interesting, some variety. I talked to a couple of teachers and they said, man, that was really hard. And they're very linear, very structured. I'm just going to tell you, I'm less so. And I promise that I will confuse you. I promise that I'll try to help you clear it up, and I can't clear it up for you. Only you can think your thoughts. You are your number one teacher. Okay. So I'm standing in front of you, and I just want to share something that happened this summer. So in about 1996, I had 2 twins. The math teachers took a class this summer out of Stanford. And the teacher is going and saying blah, 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 and we're watching it. And I'm sitting in my desk and being sick of it and listening and nod, just like you guys will be doing with me. And she says, yes, Dan Meyer. And then she goes and tells a story about this guy. And I'm going, I taught him. No, I didn't tell her this. Anyway, so this guy, Dan Meyer, graduated Ukiah High. I had him for geometry and for BC calculus. He went on to become a teacher. He went on and went to Stanford, got his doctorate in education, in math education at Stanford. He was one of her students, and he has been the keynote speaker for thousands of math teachers at national math teacher conferences. And I'm like, cool, she's talking about my student that I had when he was 14 or 15. He was just a kid. Now he's this big national expert. So I went to his website and I emailed him and I said, hey, Dan, you're mentioned today. And so I said, email me, call me. So we talked. And he said, oh, my sister just had her 2nd day of residency as a doctor in Riverside. And I said, oh, you got to give me her phone number. You have to give me her phone number. So I decided I would surprise her and call her. Well, I don't think that she would be that bothered by my telling you this. In 10th grade, when I had her in geometry, she was really struggling. She was struggling with her family. She was struggling because some of her friends were kind of struggling to fit in, and she was like their therapist. So she was struggling with their struggling. And we sat at lunch and we sat at break a lot. And I just listened to her, talked to her. And anyway, I hired her as a babysitter for my children. They told me that she was their favorite babysitter ever. When she babysat, she brought a sheet and a box of dress-up clothes. And they put the sheet over the kitchen table and it became a fort. And they just had a great time together. Anyway, so I called her, told her about that. And I said, wow, you're a doctor. So this is just to kind of put things in perspective, how I feel I fit in your life. A very small part of your life. What we do on a daily basis is maybe less important that we do things. What math we do today is less important than we just do things. We engage in things. So this woman decided she dropped out of high school, got a GED, went to college, kind of didn't know what she wanted to do. When she was like 30, she decided she wanted to be a doctor. So she went on Khan Academy and taught herself trigonometry through Khan Academy on YouTube. Eventually went to junior college, took calculus and all the prerequisites, went to medical school at age 34. And I asked her, I said, Christy, did you feel behind because you were older than a lot of the other people? And she kind of went, no. She said, you know, some of the people knew more of the biology and knew more of the biochemistry. They're fresher on it. But actually, I felt ahead. And I was going, really? Talk to me. And she said, well, I just had more life experience. So I felt like I knew myself better. I felt like I knew where I fit better. And I was like, wow, that's just really interesting. So she's 38. She's in a brand new career. She had no idea that she was going to do that when she was in my class. And she's doing it. So some of you guys will ace the class. We just hired a new teacher. I had him for geometry. And I said, I had you, didn't I? And he said, yeah, for geometry. He said, oh, I didn't do very much. And I said, you know what? You learned a lot. And he's going, what? And I said, you listened every day. When I asked you to do stuff, you did it. You didn't turn in all the homework. So what? You did what you did. So now he's a college graduate. He learned lessons as he went through life. Same thing from you. Okay, so I hope that you're listening. I don't know what you're doing. You can click between tabs, and I can't control that. I don't really care. I'm here to offer you fun opportunities. So I say some things that I've said. I'm going to ask a question, and please unmute yourself if the answer is yes, and say that would be me or something like that. How many of you have I had before as a student? Anybody?
Yep.
So I've had some of you before. So you know me a little bit more. I love my job. My favorite part of my job is working with you guys. The books, they're fine. The assignments, they're fine. Working with the people is the magic that happens. And I hope that this year can be a good year. So I said in an email to you guys through Aries that the Japanese character for crisis is the same as for opportunity. With crisis comes opportunity. So I've never given a worksheet ever in my whole career. I don't give worksheets. I only give fun sheets. Worksheets have problems on them. You try to fix problems. Fun sheets have opportunities on them. So you try to take advantage of opportunities. You try to enjoy them and get what you can from them. So I invite you to look at our time together as an opportunity. And I'm going to ask you guys to reply. And hopefully you've already done it. You did a great job. When I said, say hello, Mr. Bishop, that was really nice to hear your voices. And we're going to do it again. And I hope a couple of you will be willing kind of people that'll speak out. Anybody willing to say they might be one to speak out?
Hello, Mr. Bishop.
I would be one to speak out in class. Okay, it's weird. I'm watching what you see, not watching what I do. All right, so I'm going to ask you to do this now. Hold out a finger. And I'm trying to make it in the middle of the screen. Okay, and then get like a pen or a pencil and make your pen as a line pass through your finger tip. Okay, how many different lines can pass through a given point? I'm going to say an infinite number. It's kind of like a dandelion thing that you blow off the little seed things. There's an infinity. Okay, switch hands. Go to the other hand. Do the same activity. with the other one. How many lines go through that point? An infinite number. Now, how about both at the same time? How many lines go through both fingertips? I'm going to say only one. Now, you're my second geometry in the day. I'm going to share with you a few things that happened in second period, which was my first geometry class. Wow, blow my mind. It was awesome. And I got to be me in front of students. I'm going to really not try to hide as a teacher. I had a person say to me at the end of last year, he said, you know, you just seem to not being hiding behind being a teacher. And I'm just learning. I'm just learning. You're learning too. Okay, so now, suppose you throw in a third point. Well, you could do it like this. Okay, so you got 3 points. Now, 3 points could be not in a row. You'll notice that my three fingertips are not in a row. They'd make a triangle. So right now, on one hand, the eye fingers makes kind of a W. Make it so that your 3 fingertips are in a row. Make it so your pencil or pen goes through your 3 fingertips at the same time. Physically do it. And what you end up doing is, instead of having like straight fingers, I have to bend my middle one and do this. So now those are called collinear. So if I say, hey, here's a point and here's another point, are they collinear? Collinear means you could draw a line through them. Yes, 2 points are collinear. Do they have to be collinear? Yes, 2 points are always collinear. 3 points, do they have to be collinear? No, they could be 3 in a row. It could be that they make a triangle. Okay, so now, next activity. Take your hand, okay, kind of wiggle, now make it flat. Oh, time out. I made an assumption. I made an assumption that you actually had a hand. It's so weird. And then another hand. In my high school, at Van Nuys High School, class of 1977, the starting safety on our football team only had one hand. He had one good full arm and a stub to his elbow. He had never had a second hand. He was the starting safety in our football team, and he could catch passes amazingly well. He'd catch it with his hand and stub. He bruised my arm worse than I've ever gotten bruised by anybody else. I went to block him, and he nailed me with his bony stub right in my bone here. The next day I had a massive bruise. So I do have 2 hands, and I hope that you do too. When I ask you to do these things, please do them, and I can't see you. In class, I'd say, hey, nice job, way to go. Hey, cool, I'm trusting you. And that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so take your 2 hands, like fingers, show me parallel lines, show me parallel lines. Now make them different parallel. I could do up and down parallel. I could do kind of do both same direction parallel. I could point at the board parallel. Now, if I make these like this, I'm assuming that a straight line keeps going forever parallel. I could do far apart parallel. I'd say those are kind of the same. They're just, I would just be moving them around. Okay. Now make them not parallel, but not hitting each other. So I could make one go straight up and down and the other go front to back. Those are called skew lines, S-K-E-W. That's a word that I'm going to put in front of you. I'll write it. You'll see it in a moment. Okay. So take your hand, make it flat. Okay. Now put a dot kind of in the flat. That point is said to be in the plane. Now make your hand above the flat, not in the same plane. This plane and that point are called non-coplanar. Non-coplanar not in the same plane. Okay, now go back to your 3 fingertips in a row. Okay, karate chop them now. Karate chop them. And I'm watching some of you guys do this. Then karate chop them in a new way. Then karate chop them in a new way. So I'm going to do it. I could karate chop them straight up and down. I could karate chop them flat. I could karate chop them diagonally. There's an infinite number of ways I could karate chop these. Okay, now make your fingers in a triangle. And I'm watching some of you, and I'd hope that you'd watch me. Okay, make your fingers in a triangle. Now karate chop all 3 of them with your other hand. There's only one way I can hit all 3 of them with a karate chop. So these points are collinear and coplanar in many ways. When it's like this, they're collinear separately. They're not on the same line. They're coplanar together. Okay. So we did a little bit. Okay. So show me, make your palm flat. Now make your other finger come and hit that plane like it pokes through. That's a line intersecting a plane. They intersect at a single point. Okay? Take your 2 hands and make parallel planes. Parallel planes. Now make them be parallel planes in a different way. Now make them a different way. Okay? There's a lot of ways they could be. They could both be flat. They could both be vertical and go side to side. They could both be vertical and kind of be front and back. They could be diagonal that goes sideways. They could be diagonal like a ramp. There's all kinds of different ways. To teach geometry online is bizarre, because I think I live in this thing called space and the screen is flat. So I'm going to have to trust you guys to engage well. And I promise I'll try hard. And here's a thought for you. We have a new schedule at the high school. So we're supposed to finish this whole year by January. We have like 30% less time, 20% less time. And we're doing it online. So that's like 20 to 30% less there. We can't possibly cover it all. And I would say that to governor, I'd say that to president, and I say, we'll do the best we can, which everybody should say they're doing. I said, well, you need to do better. I said, time out. Time. So our kids will get behind. Shut up. Leave me alone. I got a story to tell you about a 34-year-old who started medical school. So don't tell me at 14 somebody's behind. Don't tell me at somebody 17's behind. My daughter, Katie, decided she wanted to go to nursing school at about age 20. She just passed the certified registered nurse anesthetist test this week. She's working her butt off, and it's not too late. She can do that. She can keep learning, keep going to school. Promise, we'll do our best to help each other learn. Okay, so here I am. Woohoo! Have I eaten chalk yet? No, I'll eat chalk. Kids say, oh, do you eat chalk? I said, of course I do. And my mouth will be all gross and all. That was good. Unmute. Make some noise. Ah!
Woo!
Finish. Okay. Let's admit this kid. Oh, sorry, man. All right. So have I stopped sharing yet?
No.
Okay. Back to here. All right. Emma Capri. Some of you guys might know Emma Capri. She graduated last year. I had her 2 years in a row. And the second year that I had her, I cracked a joke and she kind of looked at me and said, "Did you do that for yourself or for us?" And I just thought, wow, how perceptive she was. And I said, "I kind of did it for me. I want to enjoy my days. I want to enjoy my time that I spend with people. Laughing is a big part of that. So I hope we have the opportunity to laugh together." I didn't shove my mouth into the camera first period. So you guys, you should feel honored and special. All right, we got to admit people, admit nobody. Okay, so has everyone had a chance to do the exit ticket? If you hadn't, go do the exit ticket. If you're new to the class that you have just checked in the chat, put here. Chat here, that's an indication that you were present. Okay, how many have memorized the schedule? Not me, I'm gonna look in the back. 1 o'clock. We started at 12:15, so we're done at 1:45. Someone shake your head, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the big view, gallery view. Oh, back to gallery view, okay. Turn your cameras on. And as I'm watching this happen, God, I gotta remember my glasses. If I ever don't know where my glasses and they're on my head, unmute yourself and put them on. CJ, what's up, bro?
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. One of these days, I want to go down the Klamath River with you guys.
All right.
Would that be okay?
I mean, sure.
Hey, that was enthusiastic, man. Good job. Anyway, let's see here. Tareen, Andrew,
Here.
do I know your sister
Yeah.
and your mom?
Yeah.
I wrote a letter of recommendation for your sister last year. It
Uh,
was amazing. It was really beautiful to watch her go from like kind of being stressed to being herself again.
yeah.
It was, I mean, it was just so beautiful to watch her kind of go, you know, the learning is the main goal. And so I don't mean to put you on a spot or her on the spot. I'm just going to really be honest with a lot of you guys. Okay, so we got one person waiting. Admit that person, maybe back. Okay, all right. I'm going to go to screen sharing again, and I invite you guys. I'm just looking at the people. Wow, you're all on the screen because we're only like 24. We're supposed to have 36. All right, sharing the screen. Wow, I think I just got a meeting announcement. All right, I'm going to this right here. Saying yes. Okay, let me turn my Chromebook here. All right, has anybody done assignment 0 yet? Anybody done assignment 0? You might say, well, what's that? Well, let me go to here, and that's going to take us to here. I think you guys are this, that's 2, so here's 3. Okay, so if I go to there, and I go to here. Okay, most of the stuff that you need is going to be in classwork. So we're good, beautiful. So there's a syllabus, look at it a little bit, we'll figure that out. Okay, so here's assignment 0. This is assignment 0, which means it is optional. Shall we say extra credit? For this assignment, we're going to go a little old school. Your hand might get a little tired. Please open the Google Doc entitled Vocabulary and copy the information on paper. This thing right here. Okay, so I wonder if I can make this, can I make this document be full screen? No, I don't care about that. Can I make this document be full screen? Anybody know how? Yay, Bishop rocks. Not full screen. I wanted full friggin' screen. Okay? Pissing me off, Google. Their original motto was do no evil. Now they're a big corporation. Okay, so assignment 0 is this. You write it. The whole thing. By hand. A kid says, can we type it? I said, nope. The very act of writing it is going to force you to touch the stuff, and the touching of it is better than the typing of it. Okay? And if you claim to have typed it, how do I know you didn't just copy it? So hopefully as you do this, you kind of read these, and I'm going to jump to the very end. At 103, I decided to stop at that much because it was the end of the 3rd page. We will go over everything before we test you on it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to come back to here and do this. Okay, definition. Definition is, if you give a definition of something, it has specific meaning. It's more than just a description and attempts to be efficient. I'm going to jump here and go to this. Okay, so here's a bad definition. Okay, I'm going to define square. A square is something that has 4 sides. They're all equal. All the angles are equal. The diagonals cross each other at their common midpoint. It's equiplanar. The length of the diagonal is radical 2 times the side. The area is S squared. Dude, that's not efficient. That's too many words. Okay. Here you go. Think a moment. Let me admit the kid. Adrian, admit the kid. Okay. All right. So if I tell you that a square is something that has 4 equal sides, true or false? If something has 4 equal sides, then it has to be a square. That's not true. It could have 4 equal sides and then a 5th side. So I could kind of do 1, 2, 3, 4 equal sides. I'm going to put tick marks to show they're all the same. And then a 5th sides. So I invite someone out loud. Does this figure kind of shown attempt to say it has 4 equal sides? Somebody answer out loud, please now.
Yes.
Thank you. 2 more people answer out loud now, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So we will have it back and forth. Miss Torres, when I asked her after first period, I didn't have first period today. I said, how did it go? She said, oh, I felt like I was alone. I don't want to do that. And I need to be having a conversation with you. So for those of you who've already done this, thank you. I know that some of you guys would worry about maybe being nervous, like, oh, wow, what do people think? They can't even see you. So nobody's, they can't say, hey, that kid who sits over there, yeah, that one who said it. They're just speak up, speak out, take advantage of the opportunity. All right, so this would be a bad definition. Well, what if I tell you something has 4 right angles? Here's a figure that has 4 right angles that I made last period. There's a right angle, there's a right angle, there's a right angle, there's a right angle. If I say a square has 4 right angles, that's true. True or false? Every figure that has 4 right angles has to be a square. That's false. Okay, so the way we say things really, really matters. So let me just show you some pictures that I made from last period. So here's a shape that has 4 right angles. Here's a shape that has 4 sides that are the same. This is called a rectangle. This is called a rhombus. What if I say it has both 4 right angles and 4 equal sides? Then it's a square. Okay, so let me take that away. Are we going to get back to this picture yet? Are we there yet? Not yet. Okay, I'm going back to the Google Docs thing right here. Okay. Definition. Definition, specific meaning. It's not just a description. and it wants to be as few words as possible. I'm going to use the term an undefined term. I think it explains itself. It's something you don't define. Our first undefined term is point. I'm not going to give a definition of what it is. I'm going to give a description. It's kind of like a place, the smallest location's got no size. It's like this little teeny place, the point. Okay, another undefined term is going to be line. I'm not going to define it. I'm going to say, yeah, we kind of all know what it is. No definition. Okay, so this is probably a new word for you. It's called a postulate. A postulate is something you accept without proof. One of the homework questions that you're going to have on assignment 1, it's going to have a blank in it, and it's going to say a blank is accepted without proof, and you'd write postulate and you're done. The verb action is to postulate. To postulate is to kind of create thoughts. Say, I'm making new thinking. Postulate. A theorem is an idea that you prove. I asked you the last class, it took 2 guesses to get it right. Most famous theorem in mathematics. Anybody?
E equals MC squared.
That's the same one that came out in last class. And I'd kind of say, that's Einstein's theory of relativity. It begins with PY.
Pythagorean theorem.
Yes, Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, Pythagorean theorem. Okay, now you're in my class, I'm with you. If I say right and shake my head a lot, the answer is almost always no. Okay, here it comes. A squared plus b squared equals c squared is always true, right? No. So it's just, oh, in a triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? No. Oh, in a right triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? No. Oh, if a, b, and c are the sides of a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Right? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Oh no.
No. Good one if you said no. Okay. So let me get real specific here. If A and B are the 2 shorter sides of a right triangle and C is the side across from the right angle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm not going to shake my head, right? Yes. So notice it's very specific language. And one of the reasons I prefer geometry as a class, it's about stuff. When I talk to my daughters, they say, oh, I love geometry. It was about words and ideas and things. It wasn't just another procedure. A lot of people like the procedures. And they say, oh, just give me another procedure. And I say, I love the thinking. So I'm going to trust that you guys already know some of these words. Okay. So a theorem is something you prove. You already know this sort of, there's a thing called deductive reasoning. It's if-then thinking. It's formal logic. It's called rigorous. It's really solid. It's what computers are based on. It's an if-then chain of just chain after chain after chain after chain. Okay. There's a thing called inductive reasoning. It's more based on what you think is true and feel is true. It's more based on intuition. So true means without exception. False, all you got to do is find one exception and we say something's false. It doesn't have to be always untrue to be false. If I say a true false statement, that if you can find one exception, we don't put true. And if we don't put true, we answer false. Now, I'm a big person teacher. There's another thing called indeterminate. I'm going to ask you to do this with yourself muted. Please say the word after me, indeterminate. I'm watching about 3 of you, and I hope I see your lips move. Try it again, indeterminate. It's an A to E that's it. So indeterminate means you can't tell. Okay, so it can't be decided. So indeterminate says you just can't determine. So if a statement is not true, does that mean it's false? No, it could be indeterminate. You can't tell. Oh, so if something's neither true nor false near your determinant, is that all? No, it could be contradictory. So if I say I'm thinking of a number that's odd and my number is also even, you should say, no, dude, that's contradictory. That's contradiction. That doesn't work. So you'll notice over here, there's boldface terms. Those are important vocabulary terms that I'm giving you inside of the big vocabulary. So I hope you can take a look at this vocabulary. You should know a lot of the words, look at the definitions, and over by the time Monday comes, you've read these, said them out loud. Okay, so point is a place, a line, you already kind of know what it is. Array starts somewhere and goes in one direction. Now, if you start in the same place and go in the other direction, it's not the same thing. So if I say start at the end of this pen here and go through the point, and I say kind of go here, those rays are not the same ray. They start at different places and they're going in different directions. So order matters when you talk about a ray. Okay, a segment is a chunk of a line. It has specific ends, has a length. The distance between 2 points is when you don't put a bar above it. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. Okay, there's a term called collinear. Collinear means you can put them in the same line. The line doesn't have to be drawn in. Okay, so if I say my 2 fingertips, I'm going to ask you to shake your head yes or no. Are these 2 points collinear? Yes or no? Yes. And notice if you shook it wrong, there's no embarrassment. And I get feedback from you. So collinear means, could they have a line pass through them? So if you hold your fingers up like this, could a line go through them? Yes. Okay. So if I say 3 points in a row are collinear, absolutely. Do 3 points in general have to be collinear? No, they could make a triangle and there isn't a single line that contains them. Okay, so if 3 things are not collinear, they're called non-collinear. They're not in the same line. Okay, then we have a plane. A plane is a flat thing that's imagined to go on forever. We can't draw the go on forever, so we just kind of draw this parallelogram thing. If things are in the same plane, they're called coplanar. Right now, my feet on the floor are coplanar. Now, this would shock some of you. My feet and the tip of my nose are coplanar. They're in a vertical plane that I could karate chop the 3 of them, hitting my nose and hitting the 2 feet. The plane doesn't have to be drawn in for it to be there. Okay, so that's coplanar. Non-coplanar, not in the same plane. I didn't plan this, but this is kind of cool. So in the room, this is a tetrahedron. It's a triangle pyramid. And this is the shape of the methane molecule. Okay, the methane molecule is a carbon with 4 hydrogens. The hydrogens have like charges. Like charges repel each other. They want to get as far away from each other as possible. So you put a hydrogen in one corner, hydrogen in the other corner, hydrogen in the other corner, hydrogen in the other corner, carbon in the middle, sharing the electrons. That's how it is. Guys, it's a pyramid. So when I say natural gas, is it geometry? Absolutely. Is my brain, every thought that I do, geometry? Absolutely. Is lightning geometry?
No.
Absolutely. Let me do this. And since this happened last class, I'm just kind of checking the time. We got plenty of time. Oh, I'm screen sharing. Cool. So let me go here. Okay. Do I have FET here? Yes. Let me go back. Let me go back. Yay, it's going to be here. It's going to be here. Did anybody lose their power? I had a kid who emailed me and said, lost our power. So this is I'll make this available, some of these to play with, for you to play with. This is called John Travoltage. He was in Saturday Night Fever. He's an actor from my time. So watch what happens. I'm going to invite somebody of you guys to explain to me what physical objects do you think those minuses are?
Lightning.
Nope.
Electricity.
Good job. Change the end of your word. Was that Carlos? They're electrons.
Hey.
Electrons are negative. So when you drag your foot on a rug, electrons come into your body. Your body sucks them up. Do they like to get together or stay apart?
Stay apart.
They want to stay apart because they're negative. So then watch what happens. You get a lot of them. And here's the lightning thing. So it's geometrical. Lightning happens in space during a time. So I brought this up. There was lightning that was really close to high school. It was flash, bam. It's 5 seconds per mile. Lightning takes 5 seconds to go a mile. I had heard it was a second per mile. That's not true. It's 5 seconds per mile. So let me go back to this here. No, I want to go to this here, go to there. Okay. We'll say we're going to admit you. I don't know if you've come in. All right. So we're down to here. Non-coplanar means not in the same plane. Okay. So show me non-coplanar with your body, some of you. Show me non-coplanar. You could kind of do your hand in this. If I said, show me points that are non-coplanar, you do like a triangle with your hand, and then another point up here that would make a pyramid. Now, I'm really sad for us. It doesn't show pyramid here. It's flat on the screen. Doesn't work. So you'll notice over here, non-coplanar, space, 3 dimensions, X, Y, Z. It's associated with volume. Planes are associated with area. There's a thing called space-time. I dig this idea. It really has to do with physics, which is really have to do with existence and reality. This is the modern view of reality. You have 4 dimensions, 3 dimensions to tell where I am, and 1 dimension of time. So I am here, but that does not tell you an event. It only means I am here now. And my here is different from your here, and you're fine to have your here, and I'm fine to have my here. And you can have your 0, 0, 0 at your place, and I'll have 0, 0, 0 at my place. And you're free to have your now be yours and my now be mine. So my now is when I say stuff. You're receiving that now a couple seconds after my now. So our nows don't match. So there's 4 dimensions in space-time. So then there's this thing called determine. Determine means make one and only one, uniquely guarantee, specifically identify. I'm going to share with you as if you are aware of a thing called sex. There's a thing called sex. Females have a thing called, what's it called? An egg. Sorry, it's called an ovum. And generally, they release 1 a month in humans. Men create sperm and they produce millions. When people have sex, does that determine the child? Shake your head up or down, yes or no. If people have sex, does that determine the child? If you shook your head up and down, you're crazy. Okay? No. Determine means make one and only one, uniquely guarantee the specific person. So if I say, oh, so if I give you an egg and a bunch of sperm, does that determine the child? No. Suppose I give 1 egg, 1 sperm. Does that determine the child? No, they don't even have to meet. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. Suppose they do meet. Does that determine the child? No, the thing could die after 2 cell divisions and be dead. Was it even alive? I don't know. Okay, so suppose it gets all the way to birth. Does that determine the adult? Definitely not. What I'm telling you here is the thing of determine is very specific. So if I take a particular sperm and a particular egg, and I put them together, it's called a zygote. Does that determine the genes of the person? Pretty much, but you can have a thing called a mutation. So we'll go with, nope. It's like 99.9999% yes, but you could have a mutation. I wouldn't say this really easily unless I had already said it in public. I have a mutation for cancer that I inherited from my father. So when he got his genetics, either he was the beginning of that mutation or he inherited it. And there's no real easy way for us to know because those other people are dead. Now we could go down and pull them out of their grave and take some DNA stuff and get all that stuff. So the idea of determine is very specific. And your teacher is very serious about truthfulness and very serious about honesty. So down here, we have intersection. So if 2 lines intersection, what's the name of their intersection? It's a single point. If a line intersects a plane, what's the intersection? It's a single point. We didn't do this yet. Please take your right hand and make it flat. Take your left hand, make it flat. Make kind of Spock things and shove them together. So make a VV, shove together, and notice where they cross. Shove them through, okay? Where they cross would be a straight line. So you'll kind of notice that if you have like a page of a book and another page of a book, they intersect at the binding and it's a straight line. The wall of my room and the ceiling of my room intersect in a line where it's the edge of the classroom. So we have parallel lines, that's easy. Parallel planes, that's easy. Guess what a kid asked today? He said, can you have parallel realities? Put a thumbs up if you think I said yes. Put a thumbs down if you think I said no. What do you think I said?
Yes.
I said yes. And the answer is, I don't know. So if the answer is, I don't know, it's a yes, sort of. So the idea of, could I have parallel realities that I never hear about? Sure, the lights that we see in the sky is light coming to us from like 10 million years ago. It takes light that long to get to us. The reality of them, the reality of me, they just don't intersect. They don't intersect, I can describe them as parallel. You know, the people in the jungle of the Amazon and me, we kind of have parallel realities. We never really intersect. So I didn't anticipate this happening. Let me see if I can show it. Right there is a thing on the wall that a kid made in 2006. He just emailed me, he just Facebook messaged me last night. And he said, thank you for putting up with all my what if thoughts. What if this? What if this? And some teachers don't want to deal with it. They're like, oh, that's not part of our course. I'm going to go, yeah, what if? What if? And some kid says, is that going to be on the test? And I say, what kind of ignorant fool are you? The test, the test. My test is my everyday. I understand. Is that going to be on a test for a grade? My view of my role as a teacher is much bigger than that. I said in a workshop that my mission as a teacher is to remember that I'm teaching future adults. You may be 14, you may be 16, you may be 17. I'm with you now, but hopefully what we do can help you as you go forward. So some of the what if things that waste class, oh, that was a waste of time. I say, don't tell me that waste time. that one kid might be the kind of kid who invents Google. There were two guys who invented Google. They dropped out of the Stanford PhD program and they changed the world. So some of those things about could we have parallel realities? The answer is kind of like, I don't know. And if it's I don't know, I can't say easily no to you. So if I don't say no, I'd say maybe. It's indeterminate. I can't tell. So we look at all these words. We're going to spend a huge amount of time going all over this stuff. I'm going to talk about like the whole course in about 4 days, and you're going to go, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. I'd say, don't worry about it. We'll talk about everything a lot before I ever test you on it. And testing is going to be different than this year. You know it, and I know it. And I can't say that it's going to be the same unless we're all together again. And that's just not happening. So let me go back to the thing that I asked you to do. You guys remember that? Somebody say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Woo! Sorry. I hope that wasn't too loud. Okay. Time out. Time out. We're going to get to that, but I'm just going to have fun in my day. Where's the YouTube thing? Did I close it? No. Is it on the other one? Ah! Wait a minute. Time out. Time out. Time out means I need to think. So go back to the other one. Open up this guy. Go to YouTube. It's going to come up. There it is. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back up. What's that? I'm live streaming on freaking YouTube. Woo! Whatever. You might notice I'm kind of excitable and kind of all over the place. It'll be a while for some of you to figure that out. And some of you will go, God, I loved you. It's just kind of all over the place and energetic. And some people go, he's kind of hard to follow. I said, don't worry about it. You'll be an adult later, I hope. And you'll get to figure it out then. And most of what we do here doesn't really matter. And we just try to help each other do our best. Okay, so let me go forward. First time I ever heard this song, I was in my friend Vince Carnegie's house in Van Nuys, California. I cannot believe that his brother is a pharmacist at Walmart in Ukiah. My best friends from 8th grade, his brother lives here. We listened to this song together and I thought I would share it with you. Can you hear it? No? Can't hear it at all?
No.
No.
Because it's so good. Okay, stop. Now can you hear it?
No.
You should.
Can't.
Sorry, I'm doing all this and just going all over the place. Get back to the meeting. Here we go. Hands up if you could hear that. Oh, none of you could hear it? Well, that sucks. Why do they have such a bad product? I put it on and you could hear me, right? Why can't you hear it? It was playing. Okay. Hello, Jera. Say hello to me, please.
Hi.
I mean, after all that time we spent last year, all the fun we had. Hey, do a great job, okay?
Okay.
You're an amazing young woman. You're incredibly intelligent. And I know it would make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe I'm a liar. Maybe I don't know you at all. Maybe you're not incredibly intelligent. I happen to believe that you're incredibly intelligent. You have a huge amount of knowledge and goodness to share with the world, and then just go through your day and do the best you can. All right, go back to the ImageMate thing. I'm gonna share one more time. Okay, share. We're gonna get something done. Okay, here it comes. All right. You guys seeing this? Please do these examples now. And I'm going to try to make this bigger over here. And if I full screen here. Oh, I can't full screen there. Wow, that sucks. Enter full screen. So you might want to make this full screen when I'm in the side. Crap. Make it straight up and down. There you go. Okay. All right. Go. Give it a try. Hopefully you already have this figure drawn. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read this over to you. It says, what is the intersection of lines P and Q? I honestly can't believe this. There were kids last year, 3 weeks into the course, who missed that question. I hope that some of you go, really? There's line P, it's kind of going like this. It's got G, H, I, and J on it. And here's lines Q. Where's the intersection? I. You put I and you're done. You got that one right. You don't need to write these down. Just kind of follow along with me. Okay. Now it says give 6 two-letter names for line Q. So line Q has K, I, and L on it. So when we name a line, all we have to do is pick 2 of them. Okay. So I'm going to say I could do K with I. I invite you to write this down right now so you're actually doing something. I could do K with L. There's another group that I could do, and it would be I with L. And you'd miss all of these. To show that it's a line, you put a little line thingy above it. You put a little line thingy above it. You put a little line thingy above it. On the first test last year, I asked this almost exact question. I said, give me 3 names for line Q. Kids didn't put the line in, probably 40%. I marked them wrong. And I thought, you missed that? You put a little line above it. Okay. Where does the 6 come from? Switch the order. So you could do I with K, L with K, L with I. And there's the correct answer for that one. So when I look at K with I, it says, hey, KI is this line, goes forever. KL, same. If I trace from K to L, it's the same thing. I to L, same thing. Order doesn't matter here. Okay. Now look at the next one. It says give 12 3-letter names for M. And this shouldn't be M. I made a mistake there. This should be P. I want P there. So notice on this next one, it's going to involve G, H, I, and J. I invite you to copy what I do as I do it and just notice what I'm going to do. So I could do G with H, I could do G with I, and I could do G with J. So that's 3. I can do H with I, and I could H with I, J, that's 5. And I could I with J, that's 6. I'm going to do them in a shape of a triangle. So I could do G with H, G with I, and G with J. I invite you to write them down. I'm actually watching some of you write them down and put little line thingies above them. So those are all the ones that begin with G. Now I could start it with H, and I'd say, well, I haven't done H with I yet or H with J yet. And again, put the little thingy on there. And then there's I with J. Oops, sorry. I with J. And it makes a triangle. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go to the more expand view. I can't. Yeah, I can. I'm seeing more of you. Shake your head, yes, if you understand where I'm going to get the 12. I'm seeing a couple of you. Here's 6. Now you just swap the order. So I'd get swap these 3 and I'd get HG, IG, JG, IH, JH, and last one, JI. And then put little line things. And I tend to be very sloppy with those because I've made so many of them. And that would be it. I would view that as an easy question for testing. Let's look at the next group using the same figure. Next group, same figure, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, same figure. Okay, GH with a line thingy and IJ with a line thingy that's read GH and line IJ are the same. Let's
No.
do this. I come over here and say, well, there's GH, but this says extend it in both directions. IJ, is that the same line or a new line? Well, there's
Same.
IJ, it's same line, so I'm gonna say that's true. This is tricky. G and K are collinear. Collinear means kind of together on the same line. Now, notice there's not a line connecting G with K. Is there a line that could be drawn that would connect G with K?
Yes.
Yes, so then I'd say that's also true. Collinear means you could connect them with a line. Okay, take a look at this number 6. This is called ray IK and ray KI are the same. I would hope that if I gave a test, that 100% of you would say, no, this is not true. And I saw a couple of you shake your heads, yes. Okay, what this means is this means start at I and go towards K. So if I say, let's start at I, and it says start at I and go towards K, it would go that way. What does this say? This says start at K and go towards I, which is the other way. So starting at I going towards K, starting at K going towards I, is that the same object? Shake heads, please. I'm seeing some of you guys go, no, thank you. Okay, so no. Do they overlap?
Yes.
Yeah, what would their intersection be? The intersection would be this middle stuff, and you could say that their intersection was IK with a little bar or KI with a little bar. When it has a bar, that means it ends, it's a segment. When it has a little arrow thing, it means array, and this arrow thing will always point to the right. Now, if you were creating your own structure, you could make the arrow point to the left. For us, the arrow will always point to the right. It's cheaper for our typewriter to have just one symbol. And you'll never use 3 letters to name array. You'll never use 3 letters to name a line. You'll always do 2 because it's more efficient. You'll always use 3 letters to name a plane if you need to name the plane. Okay, number 7. And this kind of goes back, and don't worry, you'll know more about this as we go through. So HI with a bar. That means it's a segment. Is a segment the distant or is a segment an object? That's an object. So if it has HI segment represents the distance from HI, this is false. This one was false also. That represents segment HI. If you want to do this distance from H to I, you do HI without anything above it. If it's not an object and it's a distance, there's nothing above it. Okay, next, and I'm kind of ripping through this. GH and I are coplanar.
True.
Could you karate chop GH and I?
Yes.
Yes. In one way or in many ways?
Many.
Many ways. So GH and I are coplanar. GH and I determine a plane. They uniquely guarantee one plane. Yes or no?
No.
No. You can do a lot of them. So no. Here's the last one. G, H, I, and L are coplanar. G, H, I, and L are coplanar. They're in the plane of the page, but not collinear. They're not in the same line. That's true. Geometry is the wordiest of all the math courses. And I'm probably the wordiest of all the math teachers. And I hope that you, when you're 25 years old or 50 years old, you can look back and say, I was lucky to be in his class. I hope you could say that. I hope my wife, who's been married to me for 34 years and one day, could say, I was lucky to have him as my husband. There are times when she's believed that, very much so. There's been other times when she's thought, God, what an idiot. I can't even believe I married that guy. You know, and my own children, I would tear up. I hope that they would say, I was lucky to have you as a father. I had one of my daughters in 11th grade. She was pissed at me. If you would ask her at that time, she would have said, no, Dad, you suck. You just, what a jerk. But we get through it. Anyway, so what are you supposed to do? Let me go to the screen share, get out of full screen. Go to the thing, go to Google Classroom. By Monday, you would have typed, handwritten these things and then take a picture and send to it. By Wednesday, you're going to do assignment 1. I think it would be a great idea if you have access to a printer to print out this big list of words. Any other questions that you might have? I'm going to stop sharing.
So we print it. We don't write it, or we still write
No, you're printing it is for you to look at.
it? Okay.
So we don't have to screen share. I say, hey, on the vocabulary sheet, look at number 47. We don't have to toggle back and forth. If we were in the class, I would expect you to have that out every day. And when I talk about the new stuff, I'd say, hey, 43 right there. So printing it out is one thing. Handwriting it is another thing.
Okay.
Other questions? If you want to leave, you can. Thank you for coming. See you tomorrow. Same Google Meet.
And
Any other questions?
on Wednesday, are we supposed to get like a textbook?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can talk about that tomorrow. My guess is you'll talk about it in some of the other classes. Any other questions?
No.
What's up, Carlos? It was funny. I saw you on, so I see about 3 or 4 people and you did good answering. I appreciate it. Hello,
Thank you.
Julie. Hello, Jade. Hello, Anthony.
Hi.
So, you know, it's like some of you, I might have had a brother or sister, or your father or your uncle or whatever. Anybody? Anyway, so I'm gonna admit her and then we're gonna close it down. Admit. So for those, they're gonna, so
Hi.
Karina, are you there? So for those of you guys,
Yeah, my thing just like froze.
okay, so, you know, we all know that it's gonna be weird and you're totally not in trouble, you know? So it's just, we'll figure it out. And I'm curious about, like, it's kind of makes me nervous that I'd watched my live stream and it'll be all random and who cares-y. Now it'll be like public record. And so if you get interrupted and, you know, you could email me, but that means I need to look at my email and just try to get in if you can, make sure that we communicate. Okay. And I think, Nidalyn, wait a minute. I'm admitting a kid. She's joining. I think it's a she. Anyway, so we go to 4th period next. Trying to learn how to do all this stuff. So feel free to sign off. I'm going to sign off and go to my fourth period right now.
All right. Bye.
First, I want to do this. See you tomorrow.